With the Jets off to their worst record since 1996, the fans and the media have been calling for the Jets to fire head coach Adam Gase, but from reports inside the organization, it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets! Welcome to Jets Talk. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot today. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Guys, I do my Monday and Tuesday call-in shows every Monday and Tuesday, 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, so if you want to check those out, links are going to be in the description down below. If you want to get yourself one of the Just End the Suffering shirts, link to that in the description as well. But let's go on to our video with reports coming out today from Ralph Vacchiano. Based on conversations inside the organization, it seems that it is unlikely the Jets are going to fire Adam Gase mid-season. The knee-jerk reaction to a lot of fans to this is like, what are you doing? This guy's clearly not fit to be a coach. Let's get him out the door. And I shared that sentiment for a while, and I think I've probably changed my tune on that. But let's look at some of the reasons as to why the Jets would maintain Adam Gase as the head coach. The first thing we have to realize is that Joe Douglas was brought in mainly in part to Adam Gase, and Adam Gase wanted to get Mike Maccagnan out of this organization. He wasn't able to work with him. Joe Douglas and Adam Gase know each other from their time together in Chicago, and it makes sense. If someone brought me into an organization, I would do whatever I could to give them the benefit of the doubt before I had to move on from him. And even still, the power structure as it sits right now, both guys report to the owner. So technically, Joe Douglas doesn't have the authority to fire Adam Gase, but I also don't think he's pushing openly to get rid of him. So I think that's part of the reason. The next thing you want to look at is Christopher Johnson. This is Christopher Johnson's first hire as a owner. It's his first head coach. He publicly backed Adam Gase at the beginning of the season, calling him an offensive genius. I think it was an offensive genius because he has seemed to turn off every single one of our star players, and no one wants to play with him, or no one wants to play for him. It's been very frustrating. Even our defensive coordinator seems to have a little bit of a jaded side towards Adam Gase. So I think the backing of Chris Johnson and the ability, or maybe not the ability, the unwillingness to want to admit that you were wrong in a situation, or at least kind of see it out till the end, I think that's part of the reason as well. Next thing, the Johnsons have never fired a head coach mid-season before. That's going back all the way to 2000. They've never fired a coach mid-season. They've always let them coach out the duration of the year. And that's a good and a bad thing. I think you definitely have some bad aspects to a coach, maybe teaching some wrong techniques or going down a path where players maybe can't recover from some of the damage that was done. But I also think there's a benefit to getting new head coaches in. And if a new head coach looks and says, look, at least they stuck with this guy longer than they had to try and let him turn this ship around. We saw it with Todd Bowles. We saw it with Rex Ryan. So I think while it's a frustrating thing as a fan, it's not the worst thing overall. I mean, obviously a head coaching change at this point really isn't going to do the Jets a whole lot of good. The next thing you want to take a look at is COVID. Because of COVID, there are no fans in the stands, which means there is no booing at the Jet games. There is a lot less pressure on Jets ownership, the GM, everyone involved in the Jets organization. They don't have to move on from Adam Gase if they're not hearing the constant boos and boos and boos from the fans in the stands. Not to mention not having fans in the stands or not being allowed to have fans in the stands, they're not losing ticket revenue. Normally, if you have a bad head coach and everything's going south, you're losing ticket revenue because fans don't want to show up. Since that's not really the case this year, there's not really any real pressure to move on from him aside from fans on the internet like myself or, the media kind of calling him out. The final option, and it's one that I hope to be the real crux of why they're not getting rid of Gase, and that's tanking for Trevor. I really think with Adam Gase at the helm, we probably stand the best shot of going 0-16 or 1-15 and landing that top overall pick, which will attract a new head coach. It will attract free agents. Getting Trevor Lawrence is supposed to be the top prospect since John Elway has come out, and it's something that Joe Douglas is definitely cognizant of. Now, for me, I hate how this organization has handled everything. Our head coaching search since Bill Parcells has been absolutely abysmal. We have had worse and worse head coaches ever since Parcells left. I mean, you go from Al Groh, Edwards, Mangini, Rex Ryan, Todd Bowles, and Adam Gase. The win percentage has just gotten worse and worse and worse each and every year. Even with the great years we had with Rex, it just keeps getting worse. It's brutal. It really is. Now, my biggest fear is that it doesn't feel like Adam Gase is coaching for his job. Like, normally you'd be pulling out all the stops and trying to win games any which way you can. It almost feels like he's in on this tank. Not that he's calling plays deliberately to sort of hamstring us, but it doesn't feel like he's also going out of his way to try and complete a fourth down conversion or go for it on a 3rd and long. Like, this guy doesn't seem like his job's at risk, and that terrifies me. I've heard from multiple people that Trevor Lawrence is the prototypical Adam Gase quarterback, and I want Adam Gase as far away from this team in the offseason as is possible, because I don't want him anywhere near any more of our players. I want our star players on this team. I think Gase needs to go. Guys, let me know what you think of this report down below in the comments. Don't forget to pick up your Just End the Suffering shirt in the link in the description down below, or try to win one from the Flick chat, also link in the description down below. If you like what you see here, hit the like and subscribe button, and as always, go Jets.